Nancy was wearing red today, but Democrats are losing big time on impeachment right now, and it's already cost them a House seat heading into 2020. Congressman Jeff Van Drew officially switching parties from Democrat to Republican at the White House today.
Jeff Van Drew, highly respected, will be joining the Republican Party, and we were very fortunate. Kevin, you said it was about 10 years since that's happened, because he knows it's not going to be the minority for long. I have a feeling we're going to do very well in 2020.
You have my undying support.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And always.
Oh, the media, they were going crazy with that comment. Here with me now, our congressional power panel stars in this entire saga. Lee Zeldin of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Matt Gaetz, his fiery speech the other day in the House Judiciary Committee, House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Congressman Zeldin, let's start with you. The Democrats are lost in the wilderness, clearly, as we pointed out in the angle. But isn't the damage done, if you're thinking of just what's happened to the president and his family, his legacy, it was a smear and run job?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of the damage is actually done on the Democrats. I mean, they're going to feel that when they get to the polls next November. And I'm sure that a lot of those House Democrats who had their arms twisted by Speaker Pelosi and others in order to vote for these articles in these Trump districts, they were sent to Washington to work with the president, not to impeach him. I think the damage has been done to them, and many of them are not going to be here to serve with us in January of 2020.
But you get my point. It's like, as I said in the angle, it's like tantamount to a prosecutor.
Yes.
Saying,
right.
Having a big press conference saying, you know, I'm going to charge him with, you know, robbery, armed robbery.
Yeah, and you're not.
And then you never bring the case.
Well, it's also part of the pattern, Laura, because remember, first they had to hide the evidence in the bunker of the basement. Then they had to release selected excerpts out of context of the transcripts. And then when they actually had live witnesses before the American people, the polling immediately inverted on impeachment. Independents started turning against it. They lost intensity even among Democrats, and Republicans certainly saw it for the sham that it was. So now, facing a real trial where a full complement of witnesses would be called, Democrats are trying to cut and run on their own impeachment because they see that it is a failure.
I mean, this is why our system doesn't allow this in a legal context. You can't announce charging someone and then just say, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm going to bring the case.
Well, remember when Jim Comey did this to Hillary Clinton, Democrats acted like it was a human rights violation.
A non-indictment. Yeah, excellent point.
You know, now they're doing it to
point.
Donald Trump.
Non-indictment, indictment of Hillary, and now here we have it again.
Right.
Congressman Scalise, they made a big point of this is a prayerful time, this is solemn, serious, grave, all wearing black. And then this video from Congresswoman Tlaib surfaced, walking to impeachment.
Hey everyone, I am on my way to the United States House floor to impeach President Trump. On behalf of my incredible district, 13 districts strong, let's do this.
Reaction.
It's just disdain that they have for really the 63 million Americans who elected Donald Trump president. All of those hard men and women who have been forgotten by Washington. And it's the arrogance of these liberal elites who walked into Washington not to make lives better and lower drug prices and fix problems. They had a political vendetta. They didn't agree with the results of the 2016 election, and they were hell-bent on impeaching the president. Over 100, Laura, over 100 Democrats voted to impeach the president prior to the Zelensky phone call. It was never about a crime. There was no crime.
That's fake.
Which is why Pelosi is acting out right now.
Yeah,
There's
we have
nothing
fake
to
news.
impeach him on. It was an impeachment in search of a crime. And now I think they're seeing the backlash. The country is revolting against what they just did. It's going to be a scar on Nancy Pelosi's legacy as Speaker.
Yeah, I was going to say fake news, fake impeachment. Congressman Gaetz, the media fanned the flames during the impeachment push. The Washington Post reporter, CNN analyst Rachel Bade showed her true colors last night. She tweeted an image of herself and 4 colleagues from the Post with the caption, "Merry Impeachmas" from the WAPO team. Congressman Gaetz, do you believe this was the real collusion was always between the media, the resistance media, and the Democrats?
Oh, the media benefited off of the lies, and then they peddled those lies throughout this process. My problem isn't that Rachel Bade was celebrating impeachment. My problem is that she pretended to cover it fairly during the process. Even during the hearings, Rachel Bade was tweeting defamatory and false things about me as I was presenting our evidence. And so I think that you've really seen the mainstream media transition from reporting the facts to advocacy journalism, and I think that Rachel Bade has been exposed as an advocacy journalist.
President Trump spoke today in the Oval Office about what's happening in the coming weeks. Congressman Zeldin, he certainly seems like he's itching for a fight. Watch.
It doesn't feel like impeachment. And you know what? It's a phony deal. And they cheapen the word impeachment. It's an ugly word. That should never again happen to another president. And I think you'll see some very interesting things happen over the coming few days and weeks.
Well, you know what he's hinting at there, Congressman Zeldin? You're close to the wall. Both of you are. I want some info here. What is he hinting at?
It's a beautiful thing to have the facts on your side. I mean, he did nothing wrong. He provided the July 25th call transcript. We all see what it actually said.
What is he hinting at? What could be coming in the coming days and weeks? I think he's talking about his White House counsel, what they might be doing, and what the next move might be in the Senate, whether or not those articles come.
He has a fantastic team, but he knows that he did nothing wrong. But the full story, I mean, the Adam Schiff fairy tale, he tried writing the world's greatest parody ever written.
Where's the whistleblower?
Relying on 3% of the facts. And this president knows that he's going to have this team that will have this opportunity to go to the Senate, if Nancy Pelosi ever actually sends the articles of impeachment, to make the argument to defend him. And he's right on the process. It's illegitimate. He's right on the substance. It's been illegitimate on the process. And the president's excited for the opportunity to actually have fairness. Because he was denied that in the House,
though.
Yeah, there's something else he's hinting at.
I think that, we all know
that... I think Zeldin knows that he's not telling us.
We all know that the Ukraine endeavor was not some organic outgrowth of presidential conduct. It was really a distraction from the Russia hoax, which is the cover-up for all of the collusion that existed between the Hillary Clinton campaign, the DNC, and people outside of the United States trying to influence the election. I think that we've got major bombshells coming in the Durham investigation.
Yeah. Okay, Durham.
And I think the president understands that is really what the American people want to see in terms of accountability.
Congressman Scalise, you said in an interview that impeachment was a stain on Pelosi's record. And she responded to the Washington Post, the people who were celebrating last night, saying, it's so pathetic. After they impeach somebody for having a personal indiscretion and lying about it to protect his family, they're calling this partisan? Bill Clinton lied to protect his family, Congressman? That's a nice one. He'd probably protect his own... himself from the wrath of Hillary. I don't know.
Laura, if you go through the three impeachments that we've had prior to this, whatever you want to call this, every one of them started with an actual crime. And you can debate whether it was a high crime and a misdemeanor, but they were all a crime. There's no dispute about that. Here, there was never a crime. They hoped there was a crime. The Mueller investigation was a 22-month witch hunt to try to find a crime. But go look at Pelosi's comments just a week ago, where she said they've been doing this for 2.5 years. Again, I read on the House floor last night some of the things that Democrats already voted to impeach President Trump on. 2 years ago, they voted to impeach him for criticizing NFL players who kneeled for the pledge. Is that really a high crime and misdemeanor? Or as Turley, one of the Democrat witnesses who under oath testified he voted against President Trump, said the only abuse of power is what Democrats are doing, abusing their power because the president's exercising his legal rights. Maybe Adam Schiff read Article 1 and 2 of the Constitution, but maybe his version didn't have Article 3, which is the judicial branch. He forgot about that one.
Yeah.
They don't have a case. There was no crime.
Well, I think, and it's happened after Andrew Jackson, if the House is retaken by the Republicans next year, I think we have to move to expunge this impeachment from the record.
Absolutely.
It has to be moved to a full expungement of this. This was a fraud perpetrated on the American public. It is. I thought I'd seen it all until I saw every which way. No one knows what.
It's like an impeachment in drag.
The voters need to.
That's a good way. Pretend, fake, impeachment, and drag.
Yeah, the voters need to expunge the Democrats from this majority. I mean, the great thing about our country is they can throw them out of office in November.
If they win and stay in the majority, we will have endless impeachment rolling impeachment. That's what people have to know.
Imagine if it was a one-party Democratic rule.
We may still next year. That's all they're about.
Yeah, can't have it. We can't have. People are sick of this. They want real results. Time to be representatives of people, not roadblocks to the people. Congressman, Merry Christmas. You've all done a fabulous job. Scalise, have fun down there in Louisiana.